All right, folks, we're back again. Can I get a mic check, YouTube? Let me share out this stream real quick and get a party going up in here because we got XRP pumping again. Can you guys believe it? Here we go, 81 cents. And let's send it right now. Let me put out this tweet real quick and then let's get started. We had to put out the live now tweet. If you guys can do me a favor, it's a late night session, so folks might already be sleeping. You're going to have to call them and wake them up and tell them that we got a live show going. We got an XRP pump taking place. Now, let's have a little fun. Let's put out the caveat here first, so that we've seen this many times, and I'm not here to clickbait anybody. You guys know me, no BS, all business. Let's make some damn money and take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. But with that being said, we understand that the XRP little cryptocurrency project that we're looking at right now is in its own reality. And watch closely because the rest of the space is seeing some issues. Tether being depegged, the overall market having some issues. Now the DXY is down, and I'm going to show you the DXY chart here later. And so we've seen gold, silver, and the cryptos make a little rally. Bitcoin not looking as strong though, as XRP is absolutely ripping once again, back up to 81 cents. I'm going to show you guys the charts, but before we get started, if you haven't already, I know you love this content, so let's smash that thumbs up. Let's share this message out far and wide. You can retweet the tweet that I just put out. Tell everyone that a party's taking place here right now. We're going to watch this thing closely, but we are going to talk business. We are going to talk not just taking advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history by holding our XRP, and why one might hold XRP on their balance sheet as a reserve, including banks and institutions. I'm going to get into that one later. A lot of confusion, a lot of Twitter talking heads. The TikTok trolls are back. Let's set the record straight. Let's provide clarity for the community, and let's not get faked out. Let's not get too emotional. We're going to get excited. We're going to have a party, but let's get focused and locked in, guys. Huge shout out to the community here. XRP community hanging in so strong. 2.5 years. Victory achieved. Let's take a look at the prices right now. We got Bitcoin up to 30,041, 1912 for your Ethereum, and 8136 for XRP. I repeat, you got an 81 cent XRP. Taking a look at the sticks. I'm sorry that this chart is so wonky, so wacky. But we're looking at the 4-hour chart zoomed out over the past couple weeks because I want to take a look at this thing here, folks. You guys see what we're building right now. This base above 70 cents getting built out. Now, we just topped out here at about 81,785 on the Qcoin chart. Just under 82 cents, but this is a pump that is underway. Once again, these are 4-hour sticks that we're looking at, 4-hour candles zoomed out. And so, I don't know what pattern we're in. I don't know if this is a bull flag confirmed. I don't know what the TA guys are saying, but I will say that there is a lot of excitement in the XRP community. I'm going to show you that Congress is picking up on this story, talking about the major victory for Ripple. And it's funny to see. I'm going to show you guys Charles Gasparino's clowning around. You got the congressmen and women talking about Ripple XRP now. And there's still, to this day, 2023, over a decade of having XRP and having the company Ripple, and the mainstream media still confuses the two. And I'm going to talk about why I think this is all part of the great distraction, while this is all part of the design, by the mainstream media to FUD this thing, even though we just achieved a historical victory for not just XRP, but for the whole cryptocurrency space. They still are providing confusion, misinformation. Maybe they're trying their best. They're just confused still. Maybe Charlie Gasparino, the little Fox Business talking head that he is, maybe he's just confused. Maybe we should give Charlie the benefit of the doubt. But with that being said, let's get right on into the update, guys. We got a lot to talk about. XRP is pumping, so we're going to be watching that through this update, but a full one coming for you guys. You know how we do it. Current events, cryptocurrency, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. Taking a look here, Dark Defender does say $1.67 plus. Excuse me, he says $1.67 plus run is expected to start shortly. It looks like that may have began. It looks like it may already be underway. This is being confirmed once again. Like I said, you got Charlie up here. He just dropped a tweet just 20 minutes ago. XRP is now trading at 80 cents. Maybe someday it might hit 90 cents and the XRP army will still be living with mom. Sad. Ha. Folks, amen, God bless. This is exactly what we want. Charlie, please talk about XRP every day. Please troll the XRP community. We know how this is going to play out historically. We already got a major victory that you were doubting. You kept on doubting XRP. You're continuing to doubt and troll. And this is only going to work to our benefit as more eyeballs actually get brought to XRP. And then eventually they make it to this platform. They make it to others. The XRP community has some of the best in the space when it comes to understanding the current events that are taking place as well, putting together this whole thing. The XRP community has been the adults in the room since the very beginning. I don't need to shout out the content creators that we love the most. You guys already know those guys. They paved the way. Now, I came in and we took our spot back 2 years ago during 2021. The bull run was taking place for the overall cryptocurrency space. I had my little platform on TikTok and it absolutely boomed and it took off. I got in at a very lucky time. Today, we sit at over 300,000 followers within our TikTok community. It's a very powerful platform. But what we've done here now is we've shown folks that we're not just fair weather fans. We're not just here during the good times. We continue to put in work during the bear market. Now, victory is achieved. And I'm going to be honest, I don't have the patience for any of the BS, any of the trolls, any of the nonsense, any of the Twitter talking heads. What business are we running right now? How much damn money are we going to put in our bank accounts this month? Because not only is XRP pumping, what do we do with it next? Okay, when do we cash out? When do we reallocate? How do we leverage? How do we not give it all to the Joe sleepy, creepy Bidenomics administration here that's faking the whole damn thing, but they did send another Billy to Ukraine today. And this plays perfectly into our hands. The chaos, the disruption, and the destruction of the US dollar plays into our hands so well. God bless the opportunity. We've been stacking silver like crazy. We've been stacking gold. We got our XRP bags absolutely flush, and we continue to stack. And they gave us another year during the bear market, during this lawsuit. 2.5 years in this lawsuit that we got to accumulate sub 50 cents. What an amazing opportunity. And now what do we do with it next? You guys see the pumps here. You see the momentum. The rest of the space, with that cloud over top of it. This ruling gets to be used to go after all the ICOs, all the projects that raised funds, right? All of the projects that had contracts with investors, contracts with influencers. Uh-oh. Good thing we've never taken a sponsorship check. We don't play those games, never needed to. And our platform continues to grow without playing those games. And now it's all coming back full circle as we predicted. And that's great. But how do we get our community to come up together? That's what I'm here to do, to provide that clarity for us. Right now, we see XRP at 81 cents. This thing could go to double digits with ease. Those of us that have been here, those of us that watch and understand the opportunity at hand, double digits is nothing, guys. We're talking speculation run to double digits. When full utility gets realized, now we're talking, right? And we're still just beginning this journey. Now, I see we got 556 in the chat, 556 on YouTube. We got 276 on TikTok. The platform is hot over here, and we just appreciate the opportunity. But please, guys, I am humbly asking you guys to please share out the message far and wide and tell your friends and family and those that you love the most that the party is going down and we got to get tapped in. With that being said, we got XRP surpassing Bitcoin trading volume. The number one traded asset in the space is now XRP, accounting for 21% of the total crypto trading volume after the win against the SEC. But the way that you look at this chart here from Kaiko, it is 51% altcoin trading. So, when you look at, the market share here, XRP not only surpassing Bitcoin, but nobody else even comes close. Ethereum at 8% and the total altcoins 51%. XRP taking the lead, and it's only a matter of time before we surpass and take that number one spot. Now, when I'm talking about, we got 589 in the chat. Huge shout out. Let's keep it rolling. Guys, this is going to be a massive session tonight. What we see here is mainstream articles like we covered this morning. When we talk about banks here in the United States, institutions getting ready to use XRP, this was the statement that was made by the lawyer. This wasn't clickbait. This wasn't Twitter talking heads. This wasn't me trying to hype you up. This was from Stuart Alderati, Chief General Counsel at Ripple. Now, we did the full breakdown this morning. If you guys missed that content, make sure you go back after you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and then go back and watch the session this morning where we break down how institutions are getting ready to go live with XRP here in the United States. And that's a statement from Stuart Alderati, not from me, not my words. Now, and let's talk about it. So mainstream media covered. Charlie Gasparino trolling, activated. Perfect. We don't care whether they're talking negative, positive. The truth wins in the end, just like it did in this lawsuit. Now we continue on, and you start to see Congress now over the target. Richie Torres, I don't know if he has any relation to Judge Torres, but Representative Richie Torres says this: Judge Annalisa Torres' decision in the Ripple case establishes what I call the Torres Doctrine, rejecting the SEC Chair Gensler's indiscriminate assault on crypto. Digital assets aren't securities in themselves, but can be part of investment contracts, which are securities. It's very simple. Major victory. Warren Davidson also acknowledging the victory. He says, I join my colleague in calling for Gary Gensler to embrace a different approach. Now, let me call out Warren. Let me call out everyone in Congress. We are way beyond embracing an approach. We are way beyond feelings and talking. We gotta hold them accountable, and we have to remove Gary Gensler, and we have to take a serious look at the SEC and all of the three-letter agencies. What is taking place in D.C.? Warren Davidson, glad that you're listening. XRP victory's historic, but we do need to continue to work on saving our country. So let's actually get something done and not just be a Twitter talking head. We got plenty of those. Let's actually get something done. And we love to see the acknowledgement, but this isn't enough. We can't just ask Gary Gensler to embrace a strategy, right? Embrace a different approach. No, it's cut funding if you continue with this corruption. We're going to give you an opportunity to save your agency. We do think that you need to cut it back. And, the SEC, I think we could actually do without as well. I don't think that they protect investors. And I think that the free market is an incredible mechanism for weeding out bad folks, along with the power of the internet. If you do wrong by your people, you are called out the next day and exposed by everyone. And that's the power of these platforms. So the free market combined with, decentralized social media sets the people free. We don't need good guy Gary Gensler or any other three-letter agency to protect us. Get the hell out of our way. Your regulations don't protect anybody, and you only show up after the crime and the damages have been committed. And then you go after the legitimate actors in the space. You're lucky that we would even allow your agency to continue. Gary Gensler fired right away. And the crimes against, whoa, we can't talk about it, can we? The criminal campaign conspiracy, while they still launch attacks at our former president, number 45, I'm not going to go there. We're going to stick to crypto, bro, in this episode. But literally, Gary Gensler being the CFO of the criminal campaign conspiracy, folks, we caught them on so much. The corruption is sickening. And it's not enough to see XRP pump and to crack a cold one and have a good time. We have to save our country too. Now, God bless the XRP community. We're going to have a little bit more fuel to put on our fire, building our businesses, investing in all the other asset classes, taking care of our family, but also funding the campaigns to save this country. I'm very excited about that. Now, I do see that we got it started with the super chat from Salamander with a 589. I love to see that, Salamander. Fed now 7/20/23, XRP 589. So Fed now is going live. There's a lot of confusion. I will talk about that at the end of the show. Make sure you guys remind me on that when we get to the Q&A section. So big deal here, guys. And we have an activated Jimmy Valley. I got a stack of paperwork covering up my red folder, but we got to show the red folder before we call up my big friend here, the big hitter himself, Jimmy Valley. It's just incredible to see this thing come full circle. We were right about so much. The timeline was extended and we were off on that, but were we right about this corruption that took place? And do we have so much evidence to bring to the table? It is unbelievable, and God bless Jimmy Valley. He's already put together some good information, some good threads, and he has been activated. We got to cover it. The Torres Doctrine, which holds that crypto assets are not securities in themselves, but can be sold as part of investment contracts, from Richie Torres, Democrat from New York. He says, I like it. Concisely and accurately stated. So let it be written, so let it be done. Let's continue. He says, so the Ether pre-sale was actually the offer and sale of cryptographic receipts representing rights to receive Ether tokens in the future because they had not yet been created at the time of the pre-sale in 2014. Uh-oh. Folks, we caught him. So these receipts rights are something like a pre-organization certificate or subscription, investment contract, or any certificate of interest, temporary of interim certificate for, receipt for, or right to subscribe to or purchase any of the foregoing. Now, where have I heard these types of receipts rights before? OMG, those are things that are defined as a security under the Securities Act of 1933. Folks, we caught them all. Let's keep it rolling. But Jimmy, Ripple was using the proceeds for marketing and new use cases. What was Ethereum using the proceeds for? Fortunately, the issuer, Ethereum Switzerland GmbH ETH Swiss, provided this handy-dandy document with the pre-sale titled Intended Use of Revenue. Now, when we take a look at this, folks, this is truly incredible. He highlight, and this is the problem, folks, is we have the sleuths, we have our lawyers, and our lawyers, God bless them, they are protecting us in this this country here where we still have somewhat of a rule of law. But this is the work that I'm talking about from Jimmy Valley. You got to respect it. He highlights here, ETH Swiss reserves the right to change any and all allocations in its sole discretion. So basically, here's the story of what we're going to use the funds for, but we reserve the right to use it for whatever the hell we want. How about that? Does that sound like a good investment opportunity for you? Now, they talk about, expenses incurred prior to related Genesis sale, legal contingency fund, total pre-allocated revenue. They talk about this and that, delivery, community outreach, which, God forbid, Ripple wanted to activate a community. Nobody has receipts that they paid any influencers, but we get all these talking heads and haters coming out of the woodworks. Oh my gosh, Ripple said that they want to activate a community. I wonder which influencer they paid. They haven't paid anybody. They worked on activating a community by engaging with us, by Brad Garlinghouse literally showing up after victory has been declared. Who does he go to first? Not the mainstream media. He shows up in a Twitter space with the XRP army. God bless him, right? And he shows up in Vegas for the XRP army. Man of the people, a company that is trying to serve every human being on this planet. God bless Ripple. God bless the XRP army, and God bless what we've uncovered here with this corruption. And everybody wanted to turn and put the crosshairs on us, right? Even though Ripple's been the most transparent. Literally, you got guys like me who have never taken one sponsorship check, and I had all these folks accusing me of being paid by Ripple. And one of them said, I thought you were getting paid by Ripple because your presentation was so professional. He said, to compliment you, I thought you were getting paid because you're doing it right. And we appreciate that compliment, but no, I've been straight up with everybody. I've told everybody what my bag is. Everybody knows what I hold, and then I've told all of and I've showed you guys, we've taken no sponsorship checks, period. We don't play around like that. And then this is the work that I'm talking about by the legitimate folks in the space like Jimmy Valley, who was trying to do the right thing by protecting the XRP community. The red folder was never about a buyback. The whole conversation really even wasn't about a buyback. Buyback was just one part of it. The whole thing was an insurance policy to protect XRP investors. Our property was damaged. We have claims right now against the SEC. Yes, we have achieved victory, but look at what Gary Gensler is still trying to do. He's disappointed that he doesn't get to protect retail investors. He wants to continue to assault entrepreneurs and capitalists who are trying to use DLT technology within this country so he can protect his buddies. And we've exposed it all. When you look at this contract here from Ethereum, right, and the pre-sales that took place there, Jimmy Valley, this is the last one from Jimmy. There are a series of documents and agreements that constitute the investment contract for Ethereum. First, we have Ether product purchase agreement. Next, we have terms and conditions for Ether Genesis sale. 3, we have intended use of revenue. 4, Ethereum development plan. 5, white paper. 6, yellow paper. So these are all 6 of the investment contractors that purchasers of ETH in the Genesis sale will be awarded cryptographic receipts. These are the receipts that we got right here, going back to this Genesis sale, that show that this whole thing was an investment contract that does meet the securities laws. Do I want to see the SEC go after Ethereum? Do I want to see the SEC go after the rest of the space? No, I don't. I don't care to see that. I want them to go after the bad actors as they were, supposed to be doing. But this is not what they've been doing for the past, couple decades, really, right? When you look at what they were able to enact, and really go back to the history of the beginning of the SEC, they were a creation of the Great Depression, which was organized by the central banks and the big banks that propped up the whole bubble there during the Roaring 20s that led to the Great Depression and the market crash in 1929. The SEC was one of the terrible things that was birthed by our federal government back during that time. So literally, since its inception, it came into inception after a bubble, and now here they protect those that have built the everything bubble over the last decade. They solved none of the issues that took place in the last great financial crisis, and then they let their buddies at FTX run one of the biggest money laundering schemes in the crypto space right underneath their noses. They allowed the Ethereum pre-sale investment contract offering of a unregistered security to take place under their nose, and many of them actually benefited from it through their jobs within, lawyers that were representing the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance and the whole story. That is the situation at hand, and this is what we've been just pounding our tables about. Now, the good news for us in the XRP community is that XRP is pumping, and we've achieved regulatory clarity by every single, entity that matters, essentially. Right? We got it from the SEC that we're a digital, the SEC tried to make their claim, and the judge ruled that we're a digital token that in and of itself is not an investment contract that meets the securities law. We have it as a virtual currency deemed by FinCEN in the 2015 settlement, right? So we have a lot of clarity here, and you can actually go look at some other agencies and what they've called XRP as well. We have full clarity. Now, the rest of the space, that's who I'm worried about. Do I feel bad for the bad actors? No. Do I want to see the SEC kill this space? No. We need a level playing field, and the SEC needs to get real. Before we look at the corruption, I wouldn't say the corruption, before we look at all the folks that tried to do the right thing, and maybe they did raise some funds, maybe they did violate securities law, but before we look at them, let's go through what just took place at the SEC. Let's go through what took place with Chair Gensler being the CFO of the criminal campaign conspiracy. Let's take a look at that. Let's see what's happening over here before we go after all these little crypto projects, which some of them were just trying to do the right thing. Now, I think that what Ripple did by not doing an ICO, XRP being created by Jed, David, and Arthur Brito, and then being gifted to Ripple, was the best setup, the best legal maneuvering that we've seen in the crypto space yet. And many other projects didn't follow suit. They should have. That would have been the best thing to do. But in the case of Ethereum, they didn't even have the token built. They were already raising funds. And if you got in early, right, you got in at a better deal. You would have to give up less Bitcoin to get more Ethereum for the early folks, the early adopters. And so once again, I'm not holding my breath for the SEC to go after Ethereum, and I don't care to see the SEC go after the whole space and kill everybody. Their intent, the purpose, why they were put in place was to go after the bad actors, the Ponzi schemes, the rug pullers, the scammers, and there's plenty of that, including their buddies on Wall Street, including the big banks. So if we're going to talk about corruption, we gotta open up all the closets and see what all these guys have hiding in their closet as well. It's pretty damn bad compared to these little crypto startups that might have violated the securities law, but okay, you know. So anyways, that's my rant on that. But for us in the XRP community, like I said, victory's been achieved, clarity is achieved, and it's now time to launch full utility. It's time to send it, right? So for the rest of the space, if you guys feel obligated, you can send them out a little prayer, and maybe they can make it. Good luck, God bless. We got business to conduct, baby, right? Now let's continue on, guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Big session here. God bless all of you. Now, this is what we've seen take place recently that led to gold, silver, and the cryptocurrency space pumping. And then the pump was already underway, but then XRP got clarity and it went into a melt your face pump, and it literally crashed all the exchanges. But QE Infinity says this: keep an eye on the US dollar, down 15% in a short period of time, despite aggressive rate hikes. Very strange, under $100 now, or 100 on the dollar index. And so when you look at this DXY here, we were all the way up at about 115. Now we have crashed. We hit a high last September, right? And this is when the Fed had begun to raise interest rates. And so that bond market started to go back up. Folks started to get a little bit better return on those bonds. The dollar became incredibly strong, and we peaked out back in September, October last year at about 115. But then you see that now we have crashed now down below 100 on this DXY. And this is taking place, in my opinion, this is taking place, in my opinion, because what we're seeing here is the gig is up for the dollar, right? Everybody understood that the Fed had the ability to raise rates for a little bit here, and doing so at the pace that they did, raising them up to almost a 5% Fed funds rate. We were going to pop the bubble. We were going to wreck and damage something. And that's about all the ammunition they have before all hell breaks loose in the markets. And that's already happened. Now, remember, the cover-up's already taken place. You know, you've already heard me rant about the CPI lie, how they're winning the fight against inflation back down to 3%. But remember, they already broke the whole banking system. The whole system would have bust if we didn't have the FDIC step in and Janet no-telling Yellen tell everybody, if you matter, we're going to bail you out. If you're a small regional bank, we might decide at the time whether or not we deem you're worthy of, being saved or being sacrificed. Good luck, God bless to the small and regional banks. That's what Janet Yellen said. That's what took place with the FDIC, and now they're considering even raising those limits, full backstop. And that's what they said. They basically said we got a full backstop for the too big to fail banks, and we're not going to let this thing go. That's what took place in March. So they've already broke it. You see the DXY already rolled over. And so right now, you're seeing your gold, you're seeing your silver. We just got clarity for XRP. Cryptocurrency's holding strong. And I think that this is actually going to continue. The dollar, the story is over, right? You have the BRICS reserve currency coming out. They're going to be talking here next month at their summit, okay? But then you're also seeing, what does the Fed have left? Many folks already looking at the potential for the Fed to pivot next year, okay? And then even if they get another 2 rate hikes, that's what the market's expecting. That's what they're telling us. And if they continue on, and I will give the Fed credit, as of late, they have stuck to what they said as far as interest rate hikes. That's about the only thing that they have stuck to, right? But they have control of that. They told us that inflation was transitory. Inflation was not transitory. They just changed how they calculated it once again. So you saw dollar strength come back, which made it cheaper to buy our energy. Oil, gas became cheaper while the dollar was strong. And so that's what brought down the CPI. Literally, that's about the only thing, with you look at how the CPI gets calculated, about the only thing that's actually come down, and it really brought down the whole CPI as a whole, has been the strong dollar being reflected on our gas and energy prices. Right now, in the core CPI, they actually strip out energy and housing, and that's why that's the preferred inflation gauge for the Fed. But in the CPI, headline CPI down to 3.1% right now, if you look at the energy prices, those are reflected by the strong dollar that we had, but that brought down the prices. And as soon as the oil got down to $67 to $70, where Biden is trying to fill back up our strategic petroleum reserve, that's when OPEC and Russia came in with the cuts. So now we start to see that go back up. Now the dollar is losing strength. So you're going to see our trade deficit go up and our cost to buying everything go up, including our energy. So you're about to see that inflation actually tick back up, in my opinion. Even if we, flatline, we even break below 3% maybe, I think that we're about to bottom out for inflation, and then we're about to kick back up into next year. And what I'm watching for right now, folks, they just sent another $1 billion to Ukraine today. That's inflation. Now, I know the technical economists want to pick us apart. M2 money supply, are they technically printing money? At the end of the day, folks, this is all inflation. Another $1 billion to Ukraine, inflation. Another student loan forgiveness program, inflation. It is more dollars, digits in the system, no matter how you look at it. And it's more folks not having to pay something that they were obligated to pay. Now, the more that you have that, where folks are being forgiven from their liabilities, eventually someone has to pay up. Eventually someone has to eat that. And if we get a full backstop from the Fed and the FDIC, what gets sacrificed? That's your dollar. And so that's the situation at hand. We see the DXY rolling over and the precious metals, along with our cryptos, taking advantage. XRP with a little clarity, a little bit more fuel in that rocket ship that's now taking off. We're watching this one closely. And now this is where this gets exciting, folks, is that not only do we have clarity in the United States, the adoption and what's already been kicked up in other areas is absolutely massive. What we got that took place in Palau was a US dollar issued, basically a US dollar proxy stablecoin issued within Palau through the test that they ran with Ripple XRP Ledger. That's right. So this guy right here, Jay Hunter Anson, he's the digital residency office director, fintech project manager, and he is the AML compliance Palau Ministry of Finance. So he's doing a lot for the Palau Ministry of Finance, okay? And I just gave him a follow today, and it looks like he was the first one. He bought some food with the CBDC pilot, or sorry, this is a stablecoin pilot. Not to be confused with a central bank digital currency, because the Republic of Palau does not have a central bank, okay? But this is a stablecoin that's built on the XRP ledger, okay? Now, he says a stablecoin pilot volunteer user makes a purchase at partner vendor Kingsmar in Koror, Palau. The very limited and controlled PSC pilot tests specific use cases inside Palau to validate our solution design in collaboration with Ripple as authorized by the Palau Congress. The Republic of Palau stablecoin, PSC, aka CLUC, is a prototype digitization of the US dollar under development in partnership with Ripple, using the XRP Ledger blockchain. If successful, the PSC limited and controlled pilot could revolutionize the way goods and services are paid for in Palau. So, as he said in his own words, a prototype digitization of the US dollar under development, and now they are running the tests, and these tests have gone live. So now they're buying food and services within Palau, and we're beginning to watch that, folks. This is what we're talking about, is that institutions and banks outside the United States already started to fire up on-demand liquidity. On-demand liquidity has been growing 9 times year over year. When you look at the flows, it's just been sustained and continuing to grow. Now, a little downturn during the bear market here last year, but if you look at ODL, still remaining incredibly strong. And then now what we're seeing here is that Ripple is going to have to change up and adjust how they get their XRP into the hands of the institutions and banks that want to use XRP within the United States. This is what we're going to see, whether or not they fight this, or what I'm predicting is that we're going to now get a settlement, because literally every day that goes by, you have a window of opportunity where Ripple could be losing customers to somebody else. Somebody else could get in front of these banks or institutions and provide something better, right? So what we're up against right now is the rest of the space doesn't have clarity, but you have banks and institutions that have already partnered with some of these other companies. So when you're fighting for market share, it is worth it to cut the check and to get full clarity on how Ripple can distribute XRP to institutions and banks within the United States. And you know, if they have to register all their future sales and they have to cut a check for the past sales, we just want to grandfather everybody in that got their deal, and then we want to be able to move forward. I suspect that that's what Ripple's fighting for right now. But outside of the United States, we have literally a proxy digitized US dollar on the XRP ledger in Palau, multiple central bank digital currencies on the private version of the XRP ledger. Now, I want to talk about this private version of the XRP ledger and FedNow, because the two issues kind of relate in the confusion within the community. FedNow is a domestic payment rail between the banks within the United States, okay? Now, you could look at the clearinghouse in the United States, which settles about about $2 trillion daily. I'm not sure what the daily volumes of FedNow are, but I know, before they were only doing payments up to 25,000. So these were small domestic payments. Now, what's key to note is that XRP is not really meant to be used within those domestic rails. It could be. And this is what we got to understand, is that really nobody knows the full truth and all of the partnerships and deals that are taking place with Ripple involving XRP. Nobody knows besides the internal teams at Ripple and those that have partnered up with Ripple with current contracts, right? Now, and so this is where we get a lot of confusion, because you have folks that are adding to the confusion by saying that FedNow is going to run on XRP when we don't have that. We know that FedNow partners who have been certified to use FedNow, right? Many of the partners are actually Ripple partners that are excited to use XRP. And, now I would assume that they're looking to, start using XRP now that we have clarity, right? So you do have payment providers that are RippleNet enabled, and they could just flip the switch at any time and start using XRP. But this is what I want folks to understand, is that even on the private version for CBDCs, even on rails like FedNow that won't use XRP for the domestic rails potentially, or the front end, you have back end payment, wholesale payment rails that are in the trillions of dollars on a daily basis. Okay, Ripple XRP is still not going to get that. Okay, I'll run with that. You have to understand that these banks, for example, Bank of America has a $100 billion net loss on their bonds right now. That's a problem, folks. So everybody's debating what's going to happen here, what's going to happen there, as if these banks have some sort of great standing as it stands today. Now, who has benefited? The big banks like Bank of America, JP Morgan, these big banks that have actually taken in a lot of deposits because of the banking crisis, and because Janet Yellen said that she was going to let any smaller regional bank that she see fit get sacrificed. All these deposits and inflows came into JP Morgan, Bank of America, and others, but they still have an incredible problem. Not only do these banks like B of A have $100 billion plus on their balance sheet that's a loss on their bonds, right? You have to look at all the derivatives exposure that they have as well. The derivatives is a quadrillion-dollar ticking time bomb. And I see that we got a 20 spot from MC Prosperity. Huge 20 spot super chat. I appreciate that. Thanks, Zach, for all you do. I appreciate you. We have to understand that we have a ticking time bomb that's valued in the quadrillions, and that JP Morgan and some of these other big banks have the most exposure to these derivatives. So we know publicly that they have $100 billion losses at B of A. The banks within the United States have a total cumulative loss, net negative $600 billion. Over $500 billion on the balance sheets of the biggest banks in the United States is negative on their bond portfolio. And if the Fed is going to raise 2 more, that only makes it worse. Okay? And so you have to understand how big this problem is, because that's massive. What we can confirm, without a doubt, we can confirm that. 600 billion plus losses on the balance sheets of the biggest banks in the United States, plus hundreds of trillions and quadrillions of derivatives exposure. Now, maybe JP Morgan's winning on all of their derivatives plays. Maybe. Someone could say that, right? Or maybe they have tremendous exposure to upside down mortgage-backed securities, to bad loans to businesses, on student loan debt. I mean, you name it, right? Even just the regular stock markets. If you look at the S&P 500 right now, it is being held up by the top 7 stocks, which have all ridden the AI, and basically it's just a tech hype. And you have 7 stocks that are holding up the whole S&P 500, and the whole market's kind of hanging in there. But you look at the exposure that they have, just to the regular stock positions that they have, BlackRock, all the other hedge funds moving into real estate, taking losses on some of that as well, right? The iBuyers, these hedge funds, some of them getting wrecked actually. Some of them have so much damn cash, though, that they're still buying neighborhoods within the United States, right? And so you got to look at this thing and understand how big the problem is right now for these banks and institutions. And folks are saying, well, FedNow is not going to use XRP, and XRP is not going to be used, right, at all. That's not the case at all. There's so much confusion. And so I try to come on here and I try to provide clarity for the community, right? Understand that even if XRP is not being used for any of that, XRP has an incredible use case as a reserve currency. As Ripple called it, they said in 2017, little company out of San Francisco, that they were hell-bent on making Ripple, XRP, a world reserve currency. Who says that? Who says that, right? And then you literally have the 43rd Treasurer of the United States, Rosie Rios, cheering us on. Victory, clarity for XRP. How is that possible when everybody else from the government and from the Treasury wants to say that the dollar is never going away and it's incredibly strong? And I know that Rosie Rios is still a believer in the U.S. and she's getting ready to actually celebrate. She's a big part of our 250-year anniversary celebration as well. She's the trillion-dollar woman, but she's cheering on this little project called XRP. And I bring this back to my point, guys. You have negative balance sheets. You have incredible exposure to derivatives. You see that their margins are shrinking. The need for these banks and institutions going away, right? And they're having to adapt to that. And some would actually argue that part of the plan is to basically sacrifice 90% of the banks and roll them all in basically like 6 big banks. And that's it, right? One would argue that that's the plan, and one would, use as evidence the statements made by Janet, Notel, and Yellen. And so these banks and institutions need XRP. They need gold. We know they've been stacking gold at the fastest pace in 50 years at the central banks. We know that the COMEX vault got drained for 2.2 million yesterday just on silver. 2.2 million ounces drained from the vaults just yesterday. They need to make money. They are losing, their business is getting squeezed out by this technology, by AI. And as Larry Fink himself just said, which, I do worry about the BlackRock CEO coming out and being so bullish, almost like a, I don't even know, I'm missing the word right now, but you guys know what I mean. It almost worries me that he's coming out and worshiping cryptocurrency right now, because usually these guys like to set us up in that way. They like to talk their book right as they get ready to dump the market and then buy on the cheap. And this is something I'm actually looking at right now is, these banks and institutions are going to be fighting like hell to get XRP, because as I was just running through, they need to solve the negative balance sheets that they have and the exposure to the derivatives market that they have as well. So on the front end, we can see that their margins are shrinking. The only banks that have been doing good recently are the big banks that have the full backstop that just got a bunch of deposits. But those deposits don't make up for the 100x exposure and liabilities that they have to derivatives. The deposits that they got don't make up for the 100 billion net negative on their balance sheet for the Bank of America. The billions of dollars that they got put into their bank, right, that helps them out, but they still have an incredible problem. And I think that people are really missing and forgetting. Many people are just forgetting, because the focus right now is on Fed Now, right? In 2 days. July 18th, the time of this recording here is about 9:30 on the West Coast. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, please smash that thumbs up for me and make sure to share this one far and wide. About 9:30 on the West Coast. In 2 days, Fed Now goes live, right? Or maybe it's going to be postponed, this, that. I don't care. What we have right now is supply shock incoming for XRP, and utility only grows from here. An internet of value has been created, and it grows exponentially from here. Congress is acknowledging the historic victory for XRP. They're about to put their crosshairs on the SEC, and the SEC has plenty of other projects to go after. And like I said earlier, good luck, God bless. I hope that they can win their fight against the SEC, but not many folks had the cojones to step up and fight the SEC like Brad Stewart and the whole team at Ripple. Not many folks were able to cut a $200 million check to actually fight with some of the best legal assassins in the world, former SEC officials on the team. And they just smoked out the opposition, the lawyers that were defending the SEC. It was almost like they were embarrassed to make their own case. And sure enough, Judge Torres does the right thing. In my opinion, she's done the right thing. I've long stated the R3 pre-allocation contract, in my opinion, does meet the definition of an investment contract, but it doesn't mean the XRP, the asset, the underlying asset, which in the R3 deal, they wanted 5 billion XRP at under $1 for 3 years, and Ripple signed and gave them that deal. Can you imagine? Imagine that now. As XRP's pumping. Well, let's take a look at the sticks while we're talking about it. Can you imagine that deal? 79 cents, so we're back down below 80 cents watching this one closely. But they had until 2019. During that whole time when XRP went above 20, 30 cents, and then in the beginning of 2018, right, January, that's when we peaked out at our all-time high of about $3.80. And R3 could have executed their option, strike price under $1. For $5 billion. Now, unfortunately for R3, they lost some of their banking partners and they didn't uphold their end of the contract that was signed with Ripple. And so that's why Ripple was able to there was a lawsuit. I forget who sued who, if Ripple sued R3 or if R3 sued Ripple, but nonetheless, they ended up settling for 1 billion XRP. So R3, and I'll tell you right now that we just talked with someone who confirmed that R3 is incredibly bullish on XRP right now. Remember that R3 Corda is a blockchain agnostic platform, but the scoop that we just got is that R3 is speaking very highly of XRP and that they're just a little bit excited about XRP. Little birdie stopped by and told me that one recently, just a couple days ago. So R3 is getting ready, but can you imagine, folks? And so the point was, that investment contract where Ripple said, R3, we want you to introduce us to all your bank buddies and friends and get them to use XRP. So that's why we're willing to cut this deal with you. We're willing to give you 5 billion XRP for under a penny on a 3-year option contract, which means they can execute that deal at any time they want. Now, I've always said that sounds like an investment contract, meets the Howey Prong test, and you have a security deal there. But the underlying asset XRP is not a security. That's what we got from Judge Torres. So now going forward, we're going to see how Ripple is able to distribute their XRP, but I don't think that they're going to have any problems. The demand outside the United States is only going to grow after this ruling coming out of the United States. The rest of the world is watching us, they're laughing at us, and they're getting all of the crypto companies to come over to them because they're providing clarity, right? They're dropping the taxes for crypto and they're saying, come do business over here. So they were taking advantage of this opportunity, but now they're seeing, oh snap, the United States, Judge Torres just greenlit XRP as not being a security. We need to call up Ripple right now and we need to get some more. And so not only are you going to see the demand go off the charts outside of the United States for banks and institutions, you better believe that there is no way Stuart Alderati, chief legal counsel for Ripple, comes out and in a CNBC interview comes out and says that banks are going to be ready to use XRP for on-demand liquidity. There is no way he comes out and says that unless the deals are already done or are about to be executed on. And folks, let me tell you, I think that it is all up from here for the XRP community. But what we have to understand is that we are in a recession. The rest of the space does not have clarity. There is a world war going on right now. And Russia just retaliated for the bridge strike just within the last 5-6 hours that took place over. It's currently I don't know the time over there right now, but basically these were retaliation strikes that just took place. So literally, as we predicted, the world is on fire. The rest of the space did not get clarity. Well, they did get some clarity, but they already did the ICO, like in the case of Ethereum, right? So the rest of the space in trouble, doesn't have clarity. While we have full clarity, we get to start building our businesses. We get to start seeing utility ramp up. Automated market makers on the way. We just got NFTs. We're going to get the smart contracts upgrade. There's going to be no reason to use any other ledger other than for a few other use cases. And this is why we think that there are going to be a few winners, but there's only going to be a few at the top. So right now, you got to look at these projects. You got to look at what you hold, understand if they did an ICO, if they're going to come into scrutiny, what's this project building out? And, even if the token itself is not going to be a security, is that company that's driving most of the utility and building out most of the development, if that company gets cleaned out, they're done. My hope and prayer for the rest of the space right now is that Congress is going to step in and provide that clarity that we desperately need. And they're going to give a safe harbor passage. And then they will focus, as they should, on the bad actors, the scammers, and the Ponzi schemes. Because there's plenty of them, right? We don't need to go after the legitimate folks that were just trying to do the right thing. Maybe they were confused, right? We need to go after the bad actors, and we need to get the hell out of the way, because this is a currency war, which is what we've always brought this back to. Like I said in tonight's video, folks are forgetting that XRP is also a reserve currency, and that banks and institutions are going to hold it as a reserve. They're going to use it for their own internal treasury flows. They've now been talking, and there's many use cases with the Ripple partners who are using on-demand liquidity. They've started to use XRP for their own internal treasury flows as well. So when we talk about FedNow is not going to use XRP, oh no, who cares? Bank of America can start to use it for treasury flows today. Bank of America can start to use ODL for their cross-border payments today, right? And if they've already done a pre-allocation contract with Ripple to acquire 1 billion XRP or 5 billion XRP or 10 billion XRP, then hopefully they're going to get grandfathered in here by the settlement deal that's signed by Ripple, or if Ripple continues on and takes this case to trial, right? I think that Ripple is going to just try to get clarity for how we get XRP into the hands of these institutions and banks as fast as possible, because you're going to see the currency war, guys, is really ramping up, and it's being reflected in price. Folks couldn't see it. Many folks only have the ability to see what's right in front of them, and they only listen to folks that are telling them what to think. They're only listening to influencers. They're only listening to the mainstream media. They're not doing their own research. And so what we predicted out, what we've been warning about, is now here. And it's being reflected in price. And we're talking XRP pumping right now. That's a little fun. We're talking gold and silver moving as well. And this is a setup that we've been talking about for a long time coming. I love to see it. XRP community, thank you for tuning in. And remember that the greatest transfer of wealth is not just about XRP. And our gains from crypto just get funneled back into the businesses and the real estate deals that we're doing. Or, if you're building a blockchain business, there's incredible opportunity out here right now. And so the XRP community, as I was saying earlier, not only have we been the adults in the room, we got the real businesses. We have real entrepreneurs, right? And I'm so excited for our community to build upon this momentum. It's just going to be absolutely massive. Now, I see we got a couple more super chats in the house tonight. Denise Lovato with a $19.99. I appreciate that, Denise. Thank you. I see Denise dropped another 2 spot. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the love and support. And if you haven't already, please smash that thumbs up for me. Please make sure that you hit that subscribe, that notification bell. And let's take a look here at the sticks, guys, on the 4-hour chart. XRP back down below 80 cents. 79.5 is about where we're at. Qcoin 4-hour chart, taking a look. Building support. Are we getting ready to launch? Dark Defender Goat says we're going to $1.67 next. JJ 5 spot. Appreciate the support. JJ always throwing down. Appreciate you. Yo, just made a ridiculous return off my XRP bag and then take profits straight into gold and silver. Stay strong. JJ, for me, I'm not ready to take profits, but I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. But I will tell my community when I decide to take some profits. I will not be selling my whole bag. I have a plan. I plan on executing it. And God willing, we'll see if these exchanges have liquidity. And it just came out that Uphold experienced 50x volume on their platform for XRP trading right after we got clarity. So like I said, folks keep on coming at me. And it's funny, especially on TikTok, because over the last week, we're really hitting TikTok hard. I've had one video just did over 100,000 views. The video I posted today, I think, is well over 50,000. So we really got TikTok triggered again with their little algorithm, and so that's going to be fantastic. But on what was I saying? Completely forgot what I was saying. My bad, guys. I completely forgot what I was saying. Going hard at TikTok. Yes, we're going hard at TikTok. What else? Uphold 50x volume. Thank you so much. Yes. So people are coming out of the woodworks, and especially on TikTok, there are a lot of negative comments on TikTok, and they're debating the fact that it was a melt-your-face pump as I described it. When everybody is glued to their phone with an O face, that's a melt-your-face pump, and to prove it further, all exchanges basically crashed, and Uphold experienced 50x volume, and now we've surpassed, we're the leading volume out of all of the cryptocurrencies for trading right now. That's a melt-your-face break exchanges pump. Okay, we don't want to call it melt-your-face. I'm sorry if that offends you. Let's call it a break all exchanges pump. Crash the exchanges pump. That's what took place. And now that was just going to $1. We haven't seen anything yet. We have literally seen nothing yet. I know a lot of people are looking to offload, though, once we get up to levels about even back to all-time high, guys. $2, $3. There's going to be a lot of people hitting the off-ramps. So watch out. Thanks for a level-headed opinion based on your research. That's why I do what I do. I title the session XRP Pumping Again. Folks, say, oh, that's clickbait. Well, I want to get folks in here, and then we bring them to the truth. Then we put them to work. We say, let's get down to business. It's not just about the XRP pump. See, you thought XRP was pumping and we were done for the night. We just sit back, kick up our feet, crack a cold one, and have a good time. No. We tune in and cover all of the current events, the whole situation, how we're positioned in all of the asset classes, and what businesses are we building right now as well. This is why, I'm just so excited for our momentum and the positivity, the energy back within the XRP community. So massive right now. So massive. I thought Torres said ODL transactions weren't completely clear yet. No, excuse me. Judge Torres said that the sales to institutions that were in investment contracts, those were securities. But essentially, if these institutions have XRP already, they can start using it, right? There's no problem with using XRP, right? It's just how they got it. That contract itself is the security, not XRP. So these institutions within the United States have the green light to start using ODL right away. And now I'm waiting to see. I think, guys, let me make this prediction right now. Make sure you guys clip up this one and share this one. You guys can hold me accountable later if this doesn't come true. I really do think that we're going to see the first U.S. bank announce that they're using or have it. Either that they have XRP on their balance sheet or that they're using XRP for ODL treasury flows. We're going to get a U.S. bank this year. 100%. We get a U.S. bank this year 100% because they don't have to wait for this case to conclude. The only thing that this case now is going to decide is how Ripple can get XRP to these banks and institutions. But they already have the ability, as long as they go through a market maker or an exchange, these banks and institutions can get XRP right now. Now, the beautiful thing is that they're going to be competing with me and you, Joe Blow, trying to pick up our little bags of XRP. These banks and institutions could clean out these exchanges. I mean, think about this, guys. It takes nothing to clean out one of these exchanges. Literally, when you go look at the balances at some of these exchanges and they have 10 million XRP, they have 50 million XRP. That's nothing. That's one hedge fund. That's one sophisticated investor. That's one dude. Literally. One rich guy calls up Uphold. Hey, I'm looking to acquire, 10 million XRP. Can we get that done? Right? I mean, guys, this could easily happen. It's just like I've been sharing with the COMEX vaults and the Shanghai Futures Exchange. These vaults are getting cleaned. Same thing taking place over in China. Same thing taking place across the planet. Every central bank is loading up on gold. Countries are backing their currencies by gold. We're about to have the BRICS summit next month. Now with XRP, now we get set free. Same thing occurs. Supply shock incoming because there's a fixed amount. There was a 230 million ounce deficit last year for silver. We're about to have a deficit for XRP. Ripple only gets $1 billion each month. And even if they started dumping $1 billion per month, even that, I mean, could get eaten up really quick. You know, half a dozen institutions come in and say, yeah, Ripple, we see that you got another $1 billion coming on the 1st of August. You know, we're going to take 200 million. We're going to take 200 million. 5 institutions swoop up the whole $1 billion. And it never comes to us. See, this is what's going to be interesting to watch is this escrow and what Ripple ends up doing with the XRP. Because they could decide, as they've already done, they've only done XRP sales to banks and institutions that were using ODL for the past 2 years or so. They've literally only been selling XRP to those institution partners that are using on-demand liquidity. So these are institutions that have clarity outside of the US. Now, not only, like I said, are you going to see the demand from these banks and institutions outside of the US, they now know that they have to compete with the institutions and banks within the United States. You see how quick this demand goes up? I mean, this thing is just getting started, and folks are getting impatient with the price action. It's ridiculous, okay? It's going to take nothing to clean out the XRP that's on exchanges now, and it's going to take nothing to clean out the XRP that's getting released each month. See, folks talk about, you know, the supply of XRP and that it's negative that, you know, Ripple has, you know, a little less than 50 billion now in escrow and then a little over 50 billion total in their possession, right? And folks say that this is a bad thing. Well, even if Ripple started dumping the full $1 billion per month, it might only be going to banks and institutions that are using XRP for some sort of utility, so it might still never come to the secondary market. It might never make its way down to us, retail. So when we talk about retail getting locked out, it doesn't have to happen by law. They don't have to ban us from holding XRP. If the institutions are willing to pay more, they're going to get the XRP. Now, I've heard many people talk about this in regards to silver. Silver is so important in the new batteries and the solar panels and all these different utilities that, you know, Tesla could pull up and say, we need to load up on all this silver. In fact, you guys saw, we reported that the U.S. Mint signed a $10 billion option contract for silver for the next 10 years. So they're already scooping it all up. Right? This is why we're seeing the COMEX get drained. This is why you're seeing when you go to buy silver and gold right now, you're seeing those premiums have already started to go up. Right? And you know, the premiums going up is bad. What's worse is deficits getting worse. We already had the 230 million ounce last year, but just imagine where this goes next. They're using more solar on the new silver, they're using more silver on the new solar panels. China eating up a tremendous supply of this silver for their solar industry. And with the batteries and all the electric vehicles, all these components and parts, the precious metals and other commodities that you know, are involved in this as well, are ready for a serious commodities run. And so, like I said, you're seeing the same setup for all of these suppressed assets. Supply shock incoming and a massive amount of utility that is going to drive price up. Because the demand for these assets will outweigh how quickly the supply can get into the hands of the buyers, whether that's banks, institutions, or you and me. Now, I know my community's been cleaning out the vaults. We've been loading up. I'm looking to make another purchase of some silver. I've kind of just been dollar cost averaging, you know. but I'm watching this closely. And really for me, as I said, silver's my defensive play. Even though I think that the gains could be amazing, it's a defensive measure. With XRP, I'm looking and establishing relationships with these exchanges, making sure that they understand who I am, how big our bags are, what we're trying to do, which I say that, but really I'm just a joke. I just have a little bag of XRP. But the point being, Coinbase just relisted XRP. And even though I'm mad at Coinbase, even though, I think that they should have, manned up and kept XRP listed like Uphold did. And like the Uphold CEO said, have a backbone. I wish that we would have got that out of Coinbase, but it's okay. They're relisting XRP now, and they're a potential on-ramp or off-ramp for XRP. So I'm going to go back to, I never deleted my Coinbase account, right? And I'm just going to go back and remind them that we have some money, we have some XRP, and we might need to work a little bit, okay? Coinbase, it was a little weak delisting XRP, but I understand why you did it. You wanted to IPO, and you guys made a bunch of money off your IPO, and I understand that Brian Armstrong just dumped a bunch of your stock, but regardless, I'm excited to see that you've relisted XRP, so we got to establish our relationships with these exchanges if you plan on having a hope and a prayer of selling your XRP, because you and so many other people are going to be looking to sell. See, I've put my strategy out on the public, and I've actually thought about why maybe I shouldn't have done that. There's many reasons why I shouldn't have, but it's too late, and I just don't care because my strategy is so damn simple. It doesn't even matter, and you should not take this as financial advice. But folks know, right? I'm going to sell off a sliver at $10. I'm looking to sell off a sliver at $20, and then I'm looking to hold most of my bag forever of XRP, and I'm going to leverage it through automated market makers liquidity pools. I'm going to leverage it into real estate. I'm going to leverage it into businesses, and we're going to scale up these opportunities. XRP is going to be additional fuel to put on our fire. We already got the fire cooking. The fire's been growing. The bear market recession's not stopping us, but XRP is starting to rip. We can play with that, right? And the other thing right now is we also got to look at the tax implications. I know nobody wants to talk about taxes, but we're establishing our relationships with our accountants, our lawyers, and our industry experts with everything that we're doing, whether that's real estate, right, property management, that's within our businesses. We're getting mentors. We're getting big hitters surrounding us so that we can move in a serious fashion. No games being played. We're not just talking about it, deals getting done. And so what I'm super excited for right now is the price action's exciting, but now is when we are seeing people coming back to the real plan. Like folks coming back and say, okay, now I see you weren't just playing around with this XRP thing. This is fun. This is cool. What do we do next? And that's when we come in and we say, well, thank you for showing up. Thank you for pulling up. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to put in some work. But golly, this opportunity is going to be one of the greatest of our lifetimes, right? And the plan, the exit strategy, the reallocation program, it's very strong, and we got to stick to it. We can't get emotional. And the difficult part, like I said, is going to be these exchanges having liquidity. So that's why we're setting up relationships with many exchanges, multiple wallets, multiple exchanges, multiple banks, cash, silver. We're prepped out. We pray every single day. God willing, we're going to be able to survive this chaos. But what an exciting opportunity, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We've been live for 1 hour and 7 minutes. Appreciate you guys for coming through. If you haven't already, please smash this one up. Make sure that you subscribe, hit that notification bell. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will see you guys tomorrow. We dropped some more content this morning. I think I dropped like 2 or 3 videos this morning, so make sure you guys go back and check those out if you missed those, and we will see you tomorrow. God bless all of you. Thank you so much. Do got to give a shout out here to Dan S. Dan S, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. And then we also had Matt59754 with the 589 spot. Appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate all the love tonight. It's been incredible, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much.